Hello, I am Harry from the Shabocast, and this is, I believe, the 7th of a series going through all of the costume pieces and variations for each Doctor from the classic series. As always, there is room for human error, so if you found anything that I've missed, do get in touch or comment below. Today I will be going through the 3rd Doctor, Jon Pertwee's costume pieces from his 5th and final season, that's season 11, running through the Time Warrior all the way to Planet of the Spiders, which you can see him starring here. There are a few new costume pieces for this season. Basically, Pertwee has a new costume every episode by this point, well, not a new costume, but a different costume every episode. But 3 of the costumes are new, almost completely. The first of those new pieces is the aquamarine jacket that features in Invasion of the Dinosaurs. I was about to say Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. Just gonna have a sip of my tea. And this is in the same style as the bottle green velvet jacket that is seen in Carnival of Monsters and Frontier in Space last season. The notable difference is it is blue, but it has the same collar styling, the same amount of closure buttons and the same amount of cuff buttons. That's 2 closure buttons and 3 cuff buttons. So if you want to see more on this jacket, then go watch my last video on the season 10 costume variations. Personally, I prefer this colour to the bottle green one, but this is also the start of Pertwee basically wearing the same style of jacket. There isn't really a new style of velvet smoking jacket that comes in past this point. Only repeats of old ones if there is any variation from this style. Here is a close-up image where you can see the 3 cuff buttons clearly. And here are some more images. This jacket, he tends to have the cuff done up, whereas in others he has it loose so that the ruffle can come out of the sides. Now, I'm going to show you the 2 costume websites, the same 2 that I showed for the green one, as they're the only places that do this style of jacket. However, both are very they basically can make changes for what you need. So if you ask for an aqua blue one, that is what you will get. Magnolia even has a colour selector for theirs. Again, the problems with the cuts of each jacket I mentioned in my previous video, so go check that out if you want to. So, now we move on to the second new smoking jacket. Again, this is the same style. This one, like the previous one, only being seen in Invasion of the Dinosaurs. This one is only seen in Monster of Peladon. This one is slightly different in the fact that it has a textured silk lapel, which can be seen here, where I've got some close-up images of the texturing. So if you were to ask someone to make this for you, or if you were to employ a tailor, you'd have to mention that to them if you want it to be completely screen accurate. The silk is black, and the actual jacket itself is an emerald green velvet. You can see on this picture that it has 3 cuff buttons like the others and 2 closure buttons. Here is another picture of it. Now, we move on to the last new smoking jacket of the Pertwee era. Well, at least until he comes back for the 5 Doctors, but that I shall be covering in a separate video. This one is a simple black velvet smoking jacket, but with this time it has a cord piping, a bit similar to the first jacket actually from season 7. Apart from that, it is the same styling as the previous 2 that I've mentioned. It has the 3 cuff buttons and the 2 closure buttons, but it also has the piping around the pockets and on the cuff, as you can see here. Now we start off with the last new Inverness cape of Pertwee's initial run, which is the grey tartan and aqua blue lining. This features only in Invasion of the Dinosaurs, which is a shame, because like the jacket, it is quite a nice costume. But this one is button fastened. I believe there to be 4 or 5 buttons. You'd have to go check the actual story to see which of those is correct. But again, like the more new Inverness capes, this one has the 1 cape over the whole shoulder section rather than the 2 on either shoulder, like in seasons 7 and 8. Here is a picture of it in action swing. Gives you a good clear image of the blue lining. And here again. Now, for places to get this one, there is the seller Shelby and Gray, who I've talked about their Inverness capes before, for the season 7 and 8 ones. They do a fairly similar, well, they have done a fairly similar Inverness coat. The button spacing is a bit off and the pattern is not quite right, but without breaking the bank for a custom made piece with custom found fabric, this is probably going to be your best bet. Right, now we see the shirt. First of the new, I think there's 3 new shirts in this season, but here's the first one. This is from Invasion of the Dinosaurs. It looks very similar to the Death to the Daleks and the Green Death one. However, this one has a lining around, an edging around the ruffle. It's keeping in theme though with the previous ones, as it has the double layered fabric for the ruffle around the cuffs and on the centre ruffle. But yeah, this one is only slightly different. Also, the colour is a bit more of a blue rather than a grey, but here is some good images of the double layer of fabric. This shirt also features in Planet of the Spiders as well as Invasion of the Dinosaurs, so it features twice in this season. Now we move on to the second new shirt of this season. It's from Monster Peladon, and this is the almost lime green shirt, and this is almost exactly the same as the previous one, except that it is now green, but it does have brown edging around the cuffs and the centre ruffle, as can be seen here. Now we move on to the... Oh, it turns out I was wrong. There was only 2 new ruffle shirts of the season. But anyway, now we move on to the first of 2 new waistcoats this season. This is the black double-breasted morning waistcoat that features in Monster Peladon. It's hard to make out, but this has a shawl lapel to it. Well, I believe it to be a form of shawl lapel, but it might be broken up, but that bit would be covered by the actual jacket itself if it is, so can't be sure. Then it also has 6 pockets, 3 either side, and they are angled towards the centre as they go down. Here I have some examples of the angled buttons and also the type of collars that it could be. But given there aren't clear enough images, it could be either one of these designs. Those ones are quite expensive. However, there is this cheaper alternative on eBay which is accurate enough that it would work well for a cosplay. It's still not too cheap, so you can imagine how much the more accurate ones are going to be. Also, I found this one which has the sort of angled buttons, but there's something off about the collar, and also the buttons are too close together. But this might work better than the previous one, having said that. Now, we move on to the second and last waistcoat of the Pertwee tenure. This is the black one, velvet, that features in Planet of the Spiders. I should just mention now that the previous one featuring in Monstropelodon is actually silk, or a silk type fabric. Could be satin or something, I'm not sure. I'm not too knowledgeable on fabrics, but this one is definitely velvet. The previous one was double-breasted. This is just single centre. I don't know what the word is, where it joins up, but there's 4 buttons, and tragically he has the bottom one done up, which is it's very out of tradition to all waistcoat lovers, but anyway, this one doesn't have a lapel / collar, and it has a U-cut neck like the previous one. Similar jackets are available, but I can't seem to find any that are made of velvet, and also this one has a flat bottom, whereas the previous one has the sort of angled parts at the bottom of a waistcoat, which normal waistcoats have. Here, this one is closer, more accurate, but it actually that is pretty much perfect, to be fair. The buttons are silk, fabric covered in this, but the ones on the original are not fabric covered, so that's probably the only difference. Now we move on to the first of 4 new bow ties. This is possibly 5 actually. This is the one that features in the Time Warrior. It is an olive green with a blue paisley patterning on it. Quite sporadic though. These types of bow ties do come occasionally on Etsy and eBay, but to find this specific type of spaced out paisley is quite difficult. But here are some examples that I found. They're not perfect, but they would pass for the cosplay. Now we move on to the second bow tie. This is from Invasion of the Dinosaurs, and it is simply a brown velvet bow tie. These are easily available on eBay or Etsy. Now we move on to the emerald green one from Monstropelodon. This is just a simple green silk bow tie. Again, available through eBay or Etsy, whichever's your preference really. And now we move on to the final piece, which is the black bow tie from Planet of the blue bow tie. Don't know why it's got black written there. The blue bow tie from Planet of the Spiders. This is just a blue silk bow tie, which is weirdly hard to find on Etsy and eBay. So the best place I found for it is actually Amazon, oddly enough. But anyway, Amazon can do things cheap sometimes. So yes, that has been my comprehensive season 11 costume. We've now reached the end of the Pertwee tenure. It's taken quite a while for me to get through these videos, but I hope you've enjoyed them. I'll be starting on the Tom Baker costumes soon, hopefully. I would like to give quick thanks to the Facebook group Doctor Who Photo Research for use of the high quality photos, which have been very helpful for my research into these costumes. If you have any questions or anything, comment down below or contact me on shabocast@gmail.com. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I shall be doing more, as I've just said. So until next time, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you then. Cheers.